Kia ora students, this tutorial is all about symbolism and colour and imagery in Baz Luhrmann's trio of films, Strictly Ballroom, Moulin Rouge, Romeo and Juliet. So we're going to be looking at all the colour that he uses and the symbolism that he uses in his different films and how it's really intentional and it communicates a lot of emotion and a lot of ideas. This first picture is Satine from Moulin Rouge. And the reason that there's this blue wash over it is because while she is the object of someone's desire, she's also very ill. So Baz Luhrmann uses this colour blue, as you're about to see in the subsequent images, to communicate both love and sadness. Okay, so if we look at this next one, this is Romeo right before he kills Tybalt. There's this blue wash over the screen, and that's because this moment is all about both anger and also Romeo's love for Juliet. So he's really torn. That's why he's so angry, because Mercutio has just been killed and he's incredibly upset, and yet he wants to remain loyal to his new wife, and so he's very torn. As you see in this next image, this is right after he has shot and killed Tybalt. There's the blue wash over the screen, but also what's really important is that we have like these two tears of blood tracking down Romeo's face. And this is incredibly important. It's symbolic of his sadness and of the guilt that he now has for doing what he did to Tybalt. But there's still this blue wash over it because he is still deep in the throes of being in love with Juliet. Okay, the last image that we'll look at in this blue series is Romeo getting back into the car to escape the situation. And as you can see, the background, all blue light, well not all, but mostly blue lights. Everything has this tinge of blue. So it's all about the sadness and despair that he now feels for what he's done. Something else we're going to talk about later on in this tutorial is the rain. It rains in this scene and there's water throughout Romeo and Juliet, and we'll see that that is really important. Oh, no, there is one more. This is Romeo approaching Juliet's tomb. Very obvious use of the colour blue. His shirt, the crosses themselves, due to the crosses, the whole scene is imbued with this tinge of blueness, which is incredibly important and symbolises both of the characters' grief in this situation. They're both so sad because they think they've lost one another, and ultimately that leads to them losing one another. Okay, this is a different type of shot altogether, and actually I'll flick back and forth so that you can see. The next example is Romeo and Juliet on their deathbed. So, sorry to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but Satine does die from tuberculosis at the end of the film. Interestingly though, tuberculosis leaves someone completely just not looking like this, you know. Someone who dies of tuberculosis does not look all beautiful and calm and pretty, okay? So it's really important to see that Baz Luhrmann has chosen to portray Satine in this perfect way. And the same thing is seen here with Romeo and Juliet. Look at how tiny that bed is. Realistically, Romeo should be falling off. Juliet just shot herself in the head with quite a large revolver, and yet there's only a tiny bullet hole. So this is all to do with Baz Luhrmann's aesthetic, which means the way that he wants things to look. He wants things to look beautiful and sad, but perfect, really. You know, all the candles, they haven't lit anybody's dress on fire, despite the fact that if you look here, hopefully you can see my mouse moving, Juliet's dress is like draping in the flames. So you can see in both of these images that Luhrmann always wants things to look beautiful and perfectly framed, even though in reality we're dealing with death in both of these images.